There we go. Okay, good. Everybody should be looking at how to double your membership sales leads, a fitness marketing masterclass. I'm so excited you guys are here. We had a major mishap where the email went out. We had several hundred people ready for this webinar, ready to dive in. And we realized like 5 minutes before that the link was broken to the webinar. So we changed it to a quick Zoom meeting and sent it out. So hopefully people can catch the replay if they're missing it now. So, hey, thank you for joining me. We're going to make it, try to make it in about half an hour and then leave some time for Q&A. If you guys have specific questions that you want to ask, we're going to dive into some really interesting stuff that's happening in the fitness industry from a marketing standpoint right now to help you guys move the needle forward. Some of the things that you're going to learn today is something called the Offer Pendulum. So you're here because you want to increase your membership sales, your revenue, your lead volume. One of the things that's a key factor in making that happen is the offer. So what we're going to look at is we're going to look at something called the Offer Pendulum and how to craft the right fitness marketing offer to maximize lead volume without sacrificing quality. We're also going to take a look at the 4 hottest lead generation channels for the fitness industry in 2022. So, and I think somebody, let's see, I'm going to mute. Okay, great. Sorry, Chris, I didn't mean to ask you to unmute. I was just muting Diane there. So we're going to look at the 4 hottest lead generation channels for 22. And then we're also going to look at what's interesting is the new kid on the block, which is TikTok, and how you can get leads for as low as $3 to $5 per a lead from TikTok advertising. And actually, here is a couple of examples of that. You can see here, $3.45 per a lead at 47 conversions, $3.72 a lead at 44 conversions for those health clubs. Here's 2 more, $3.74 for 48 leads, 69, 78 leads, right around that $4 mark. So these are really fantastic numbers, and we're going to show you exactly what to do and how to do that. So for those of you, some of you may know who I am, some of you may not. So let me give you a quick 30-second introduction here. I've been in the fitness industry for about 23, going on 24 years here. I used to be in the fitness space and was in charge of business development and sales training for 50 health clubs, lots of employees. That brand got acquired by LA Fitness. And then I ended up going out on my own, opening my own facilities and had multiple locations and owned and operated those for 7 years and then had to exit after that. So I know what it's like to do everything from sales, membership tours, cleaning the toilet, running a sales team, and the whole thing of what it's like to run a fitness company. We've also, as an agency, been trusted by one of the sharks from Shark Tank, who we cut their acquisition cost by 73%. Kevin Harrington, he was on the first several seasons on the panel. Also a fitness industry speaker and host, and founder and CEO of Lead Line Marketing, a fitness marketing agency. So if you guys ever get a chance to check it out, listen to the Fitness Industry Success Show. If you're interested in hearing other people's stories, this is fellow fitness company owners, everything from the single studio owner all the way up to owning 20 or more, 50 more locations. Jeff Dyer was on here. He's building $1 billion crunch brand. And there's so many really interesting stories on here that you guys may find fascinating that you'd enjoy listening to and get something out of it. So we work exclusively with fitness. So all the data that we're pulling for the stuff that we're sharing with you today is coming across a lot of different brands from within the fitness industry because we get a firsthand look and glimpse into that. And this is just showing an example of who we work with. So who is this not for? So this is not for fitness business owners and operators that want to be an influencer. So if you're looking to build your following, your profiles, and get more of, Instagram followers, TikTok followers, this is not for that. This is high performance marketing. This is lead generation that we're talking about here. This is also not for those looking for magic beans. It's not going to fix all your problems. If you have a sales problem or you have a follow-up or automation problems, that's not going to fix this. And it's only for businesses that can handle lots of leads. This is not for like a one-on-one personal training studio who can't handle high enough lead volume to get through that. So this is for gyms, health clubs, athletic clubs, boutique gyms, mass market studios who are looking for more memberships. So if you guys are looking for monthly membership sales increases, then this is for you. Fitness business leaders that have a growth mindset if you guys have been in the fitness industry long enough, you know there's always the folks that, but we've always done it this way. So it's not for you guys. And also those who have room for at least 25% growth or more. So let's talk about the key things before we dive deep here of what we're going to be doing today. Is we're talking about filling your sales funnel. So every fitness business is always the first 3 to 5 years seeing great growth. Then after 3 to 5 years, you hit what's called market maturity. You get a little bit of saturation. You have more competition in the area, maybe move in, and you're always trying to outrun attrition, those cancellations. You're always trying to keep your head above water and just outgrow that attrition rate so you have growth instead of a steady decline. And so we're going to be focusing on that today, how to keep the pendulum swinging upwards, how to move the business forward, get a positive ROI on your marketing, and see that continued growth over time, even when you've hit market maturity. Here's an interesting study. So Institute for Marketing Science, this is, I believe they're based out of Australia. They did a really interesting 5-year study. And you can see here, these are big brands. This would be like Budweiser, Coca-Cola, those types of brands. And down here would be your regional brands, your small brands, and your single mom and pop one location spaces. So what happens when brands stopped advertising? They did a 5-year study. The only one that grew for 2 years after that was the largest of brands that were already growing, but everyone else immediately after they stopped advertising, especially smaller brands. When we say smaller brands, we're talking under $50 million a year, right? So you could be doing $100,000 a year, $500,000 a year, $1 million, $10 million a year. You would be considered a smaller brand. There's an immediate steep decline year after year after year for 5 straight years as soon as they stop advertising. So this study shows that advertising is the fuel that's going to really help you to earn that growth and maintain and keep that growth. And I'll show you something here why. Most fitness businesses rely heavily on walk-ins, referrals, their sales team, if they have a sales team, and their organic, or what would be called their grassroots marketing, right? So they're relying heavily in these areas, but what happens, in fact, I had multiple conversations this week with people who talked about the steady decline. They were club owners or gym owners, and they were like, hey, over the last several years, and they're thinking maybe it's COVID. I said, well, how much advertising have you done in the last 3 years? They're like, oh, we don't. Well, there you go. You're going to experience a steady decline. What we want to do is we want to drive more walk-ins. We want to drive more referrals, more organic marketing engagement opportunities, and fill your sales team full through advertising, but not just brand advertising. We're talking about lead generation, which is actually filling the funnel. So here's a good example if you guys like numbers. If you look on the left-hand side, let's say in your local market, you're going to touch about 30,000 people through, let's say, social media advertising, right? Of those 30,000 people, 200 of them may raise their hand and say, yes, I'm interested in what you have to offer. Here is my first name, my last name, my email, my phone number. I'm interested. I'm in. Of those people, maybe 140 people book an appointment, come in for a tour, free trial, whatever that may be. And then 80 people or book an appointment, and then 80 people actually show up for that, and then 50 people join. And then 10 people behind that would be upsold to a higher training package, group training, team training, something like that, nutritional coaching, whatever other upsells you might have on the back end. But you can see here, this is all about getting you an ROI, a return on your investment, making sure that you have people showing up and signing up. So let's talk about how to do that. If you were to look back, maybe 10 years, maybe 10, or maybe not even that far, there was a heavy reliance on television advertising, radio, print, direct mail, magazines. It was very different landscape. Digital was thriving, but it was kind of in a weird spot. It was digital, and they were coexisting together really, really well for the smaller companies. Now it's heavy online, heavy digital, and those other antiquated methods are slowly declining. Some are even dying a very slow, quick death. So the difference is you're dealing with something called an algorithm. So when you're doing any type of advertising online, you're dealing with an algorithm, whereas before you never had an algorithm. You'd throw a radio ad out there, you'd put a television, you'd throw direct mail out there, or a billboard, and it was just there. So it would be all about the messaging. The messaging was front and center. It was all about the messaging. So fast forward to today's day, 2022, and now it's more than just the messaging. You're dealing with an algorithm that's going to tell you whether your ads get seen more or less, whether you're going to pay more or less for those ads based on the engagement levels. So more than ever before in history, is it more important, never before in history, is it more important to have the right offer market fit, not just to get people in your door, but to appease the algorithms as well. So let's talk about that. So we work with a lot of health clubs, athletic clubs, fitness studios all across the country, and we've been able to test thousands of different ads and lots of different offers. So after a while, we started noticing patterns and some different things that really had a huge impact on what would generate higher lead volume versus lower lead volume. I'll give you an example. Like 5-6 years ago, the giveaway was really, really popular. You know, you give something away, or you can win a prize or a contest or a free year, or something like that. Those are no longer, they don't work as well anymore. But anyway, on the left side of this pendulum, you've got high friction and low perceived value. Okay, so this would be your low lead volume. And then on the right side, you got high lead volume with high perceived value and low friction. So an example of that would be the high friction would be, hey, join for $100,000 and get, you know, a free day pass. Very low perceived value, high friction, you're going to get 0 leads. The other extreme to that would be, hey, you give me 1 penny and I'm going to give you a 2-year membership. That is an extreme example, but you would have people knocking down your door or questioning what you're doing, why you're in business. So you don't want to swing the pendulum all the way to one side or all the way to the other side. There's a sweet spot right here where the blue is marked, where you want to be just over on the right side, where you can cast the widest net possible while also keeping your lead quality up. So for fitness industry owners and operators and managers, here's what that looks like. You've got 3 main levers. Let's say you own a health club. You've got your pass, which is your time. So the typical pass is the 1-day pass, 3-day, 5-day, 7-day. There is a 14, 21-day, and 30-day pass now, which has taken the industry by storm because of COVID with people trying to get attention. You also have enrollment. So you've got Crunch does a great job of this. They're always either $1 enrollment, no enrollment, 10-cent enrollment. They're always playing with the enrollment lever on this offer pendulum. And then you have months. So you got your monthly dues. So if you're a high volume, low priced, you know, fitness center, it's easy to give away 1 month or 2 months because you're not losing that much. Now, on the flip side, if you're $60, $80, $100 or plus per a month, you start to feel that impact on giving away the free months. But at the same time, if it's public knowledge that people know what your prices are, that may swing the pendulum really, really far for you. So the goal here of what you want to do is you want to boost your lead volume by testing and crafting the perfect market fit offer for your fitness business. That's going to be either one of these or a combination thereof. Let me give you an example of some offers that have worked really well. We had a club out west that was in a very, very competitive market where there's probably a health club every 2 blocks. And these are huge. These are 40, 50,000 square foot clubs. Very, very competitive marketplace. They were having a hard time breaking through the noise. So we suggested, hey, let's move the pendulum and let's do a 30-day pass. This is before everyone else started doing 30-day passes. This is years ago. And all of a sudden, they were getting more leads than they knew what to do with. And the good news is they had a strong enough back-end sales process to convert at least 50% of those leads that were coming in each month. So that's the key. Is you also have to match that with the correct amount of sales skills that you have on the back end. So that's an example, but you can play with the pass, you can play with the enrollment, you can play with the months, and you can do what's called value stacking, to where you say, hey, we're going to create a jaw-dropping offer that's so good you'd be stupid to say no, right? So for example, January comes around and you're talking about, hey, we're offering 0 enrollment, first 2 months free, and a 21-day pass for a friend or family member. I mean, that's ridiculous, but is it? Because think about it, those people in January are shopping, they're going to go somewhere and they're either going to join your facility or they're going to join someone else's. So if you have the option to pull them into your ecosystem and get them on your monthly draft for the next 2-3 years, then you have to think long-term, the ROI is definitely there. So you want to play with that offer pendulum to try to get that to where you're going to swing it just over to the right side. Okay. I'm going to save some time at the end, guys, for questions. So if you have questions on this, just write it down and then you can drop it in the chat and then and we'll answer those for you. Some other factors that may be affecting your lead volume is obviously the creative and the copy, the time of year, the fitness industry. Most markets will very closely follow the school calendar. So January, February, March, it's like mid to late January, February, March, April, very strong months. May can be strong as well. Summer, the summer slow or the summer soft. And then you've got, depending on when you go back to school, August, but September, and then all the way up through just before Thanksgiving, very strong. And then between Thanksgiving, Christmas, it's the lull, and then you're back up again. So you want to make sure that you're putting the right offer at the right time of year. So if you're really hurting for lead volume and you want to go stronger, you can. But my suggestion would be if you can hold off, run more of a brand strategy during the slower month, and then really, really pound it and come out with something extremely strong. So you're going with the grain instead of against the grain, like in a January or a September, you're going to see a huge influx and a high conversion rate. Okay. Other factors that it will affect your lead volume will be supply and demand, where you're using marketing strategies like urgency and scarcity. So a lot of you guys probably have maybe a pass on your website and it's just always there. And then when you go to marketing, you're going to put some ad spend behind something. You hear this all the time. Well, let's just run a day pass. Okay, great. But you've had a day pass for 10 years on your website. Yeah, exactly. Let's just run the day pass. You're not going to get anything out of it because it's not unique. It's not special. It's not going to create urgency. There's no scarcity. There's nothing amazing about it. So you're relying on brand and messaging at that point. You're not really generating leads at a low cost at a high volume. So keep that in mind. You want to have that offer and that supply and demand use things like, hey, there's a limited supply of this available, or it's going to end at a certain date, would be how to create that urgency and scarcity. And then we've already talked about the algorithm. All right. So 4 hottest lead gen channels for 2022. Let's take a look at these in order from number 4. Starting with number 4 is Instagram. I bet this is a surprise because maybe you were thinking Instagram would be number 1 or number 2 at least. And it's actually number 4. So Instagram's fantastic. It has 2 billion users. 62% of those users are between the age of 18 to 34. So it is a pretty young demographic. And it's got huge adoption in the younger gen, like Gen Z. And then average user time is about 28 minutes a day. Instagram's number 4, though, because the platform itself and the way that it's structured for ads and scrolling. Instagram is really big on images and videos, and it's a fast-moving platform. You've got stories you're just flying through. So if you ever watch somebody or yourself pay attention to how you scroll Instagram, it's very quick. And so there's very little ad copy shown. There's a learn more button on your ad. So it doesn't convert as high. Can it convert? Yes. You'll pay a little bit more cost per lead, and it's still very effective. If it's your only strategy that you can choose from, I wouldn't pick Instagram as your only platform. If it's only, you can only afford to do one platform, I would make this an add-on platform if you're already running on other platforms. Okay. All right. So Instagram, number 4. Number 3, SMS. 90% of people prefer text messages. I haven't met somebody in 10 years that doesn't have a smartphone. And you're going to get a 70% opt-in and open rate. Is going to be even higher than that. So it's huge. If you're not communicating through SMS with your follow-up automations, database reactivation campaigns, two-way communication on lead follow-up and nurture sequences, make sure that your SMS is really dialed in and also that you're compliant. But you want to really make sure that this is a platform you're utilizing as much as possible, because it's going to have a significantly higher response rate versus email and phone calls. Phone calls are awesome. You want to get that face-to-face or that conversation over the phone if you can. The issue with phone calls is people are busy, they don't pick up, and if they don't recognize the number, they're definitely not going to pick up. So text messaging would be the way to go. Number 3, Facebook. So Facebook's still the behemoth in the marketplace. Cost per lead is fantastic. 3 billion users, 60% of them are between 18 and 44, 35% are 45 and over. So you've got this really great middle segment on Facebook. And they're using Facebook for an average of about 33 minutes a day. So it's still very sticky. It's still producing really well. Depending on your price point of your health club or your studio or your gym, whatever fitness company you have, is going to be also kind of where you want to advertise. So if you have especially you premium priced clubs, if you're over $39, $49 up to $100 plus, Facebook's going to be your spot for sure to start out with. Anyway, so Facebook is number one. If you're not running Facebook advertising now, you have to be on it. But let's go to number one. Drum roll, please. No surprise. TikTok, the fastest growing platform in all of history. So TikTok is weird. It is, for me, I'm, a little bit old school. It's strange for me, but I can't ignore it. And we've been rolling TikTok out for clients and it's working extremely well. So TikTok is up to 1.2 billion users and counting by the second. That number is probably much bigger right now. 46% of the TikTok users in the US are between 20 and 39 years old. That's a big number. That's your gym demographic, your fitness demographic. But here's the kicker. 33 to 95 minutes per a day. It is the stickiest, most addictive platform of all the platforms out there right now. So if you haven't been on TikTok, I don't recommend it because you might never get off. So just be very careful. I warned you. Don't say I didn't warn you. But it's a very sticky platform. And the users on TikTok they're fast. They have short attention spans. So you would think, how would ads convert on TikTok? They actually do. And we're seeing, like I told you before, those really, really low cost leads, and they're converting very well. So let's talk about this. How do you get $3 to $5 leads from TikTok ads? Okay. Very unique, very different platform. I'm going to give you some, run through some tips, even show you a sample. But number one is you have to use vertical video. So everything on TikTok is vertical. You have to hold your phone vertically. It's not hard to do to get the actual vertical videos that you need. The other parts may be a little more advanced and complicated, but this part is really easy to create that vertical video of your studio, your fitness club, your gym, your athletic club. Really simple to do. Some examples of some videos would be like gym shots, action shots, front desk waving hello, so people doing certain exercises have worked really well. And so we have found, because you can upload up to 60 seconds, right, for a TikTok ad, and TikTok's ad platform recommends that you actually do like 15 seconds. But the sweet spot for conversion is actually between 30 to 45 seconds, stitching together various scenes throughout the ad. Various scenes meaning the video is changing like every 7 to 10 seconds, okay? So we also recommend using trending music and speech to text for TikTok ads. There's certain music that's always trending. There's certain speech to text voices that are always trending. So let me play an example. For those of you that have never been on TikTok or scrolled TikTok, you're not sure what text to speech is. I'm going to play this quick 2-second clip here.
Over 200 4.8-star reviews.
Okay, there you go. So you can see you're painting the club there. It's got some text to speech overlaid over that. What that does is it helps the ad to feel more native to the platform versus being like a graphic billboard Nike type ad, which is not what you want to do because that's not going to convert very well. Another tip is not to recycle your Instagram or Facebook stories or posts or ads onto TikTok. It will not translate whatsoever. So make sure that everything that you do there is really unique to TikTok and made specifically for TikTok, or it will not convert. Make sure that your ads look like TikToks, okay, and not like an ad. We talk to clients about this all the time, and it's really important to understand that there's a lot of marketing out there where it's just beautiful design, lots of graphic overlays, and it just really almost looks like it should be winning an award for some sort of advertising trophy. But that's not what converts, because we've hopped in the account when we take over the account and you're paying $35, $40 a lead. It's absolutely ridiculous. You should be way below that, $3, $5, $10 a lead tops in that area, depending on your market. But so what's happening is if you look like an ad, people don't go onto social media platforms saying, hey, what ads can I look at today? It's just not going to happen, right? So you want to think about that. The more organic you look, in other words, the more native you look to the platform. If it looks like a TikTok and not like an ad, if it looks like a Facebook post and not like an ad, you're going to get higher engagement rates and higher conversion rates because of click-through rates and other things like that, okay? All right, next, you don't need to dance for your TikTok ads. Don't worry, it's not weird. Like I said before, we recommend doing some different shots of the studio, people doing, or the club, the health club or the athletic club. Take some time. It takes you maybe 15, 20 minutes. Get your team together and hold the phones like this and just start shooting away at some different ideas. Somebody doing squats, a trainer working with a client, front desk staff doing something like waving or checking somebody in, somebody giving somebody a tour, a group fitness class, right? Or a team training class or group training or different things like that. Somebody high-fiving somebody else. And these highlights can go through and be part of your TikTok ad that will work incredibly well. Now, full disclosure, the trouble with TikTok ads, there's a gotcha, there's a catch, okay? So one of the problems right now, TikTok, okay, so TikTok is really new and TikTok ads have not been around more than a few years. It's very, very young. That's why it's the blessing in disguise is it's so cheap. You can get in front of thousands of people for dollars. You can get leads for $2, $3. We've had some clients get leads for $1 to $2 from TikTok over time because it's so cheap, because it's so new. But that's going to change in the next 12 to 24 months because everyone's going to be jumping on the platform. The problem right now is that with Facebook advertising, Instagram advertising, you can target a 1 mile, a 3 mile, a 5 mile radius. You cannot do that with TikTok ads. You're targeting what's called the Nielsen designated market areas, which are your television and radio broadcast markets. So what does that mean? So instead of being like a 1 to 3 mile radius, it may be 4 counties. It may be 5 or 6 counties. It may be 2 counties. So it's going to be a larger area that you're targeting. We worked really hard and we found some ways that we can get people to identify if they live in a certain area. We've got some back-end infrastructure that we had to set up to be able to run ads to make sure that we're getting people that live within driving distance of the facility. And that way we're not wasting ad spend. So there is some workarounds around that, but I do want to be very upfront with you and let you know there is a gotcha. You have to know how to work around these DMAs until later down the road, if they ever do, when TikTok releases the ability to target a 1 to 3 mile radius. Okay. The difficult part, TikTok ads are easy to create TikToks, difficult to run successfully. So we've been testing lots and lots of TikTok ads. We've cracked the code on that. And we'd be happy to share more at a later date if you're interested in that. So let's do a quick review. I told you I wasn't going to keep you long because I want to open this up for Q&A. But the offer pendulum, remember that everything starts with your offer. You can have the most beautiful facility. You can have the most amazing pricing or service offering for your fitness, members or your clientele. But if you don't have the right offer market fit, your marketing is going to fall flat no matter how good your messaging is. So remember the offer pendulum, swing it a little bit to the right side, get that high lead volume, cast a wider net and reduce that friction, and you'll have more at-bats and you'll have more opportunity to grow and get that snowball rolling. Remember that money flows where attention goes. So focus on the hottest platforms. 4 was Instagram, 3 was SMS, 2 was Facebook, and number 1, TikTok is trending right now. It's unbelievable. So marketing science, remember that if you don't advertise, you're not going to win. You're dying a slow death already. So if you haven't been advertising, you're really missing out. You may be losing, members to your competition. So make sure that you're doing some form of advertising on a regular basis throughout the year. And then the gold rush, run. If you're not on TikTok ads right now, run it now because it's going to be more expensive in a year from now. Facebook ads used to be cheap like this, and that has changed quite a bit, even though it's still the most second least expensive platform compared to all the other ones. But definitely do that now. So, guys, real quick, if there's anyone on here that wants to learn more, this can be done for you. You can book a discovery call with us. We'd be happy to walk through some of this for you. Just go to leadlinemarketing.com. You can do that there. So let's open it up for some questions. If you guys have any questions, I'll be happy. You can direct message me in the chat, or you can just drop it into the chat. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those. So we'll do 2 questions.
Hey, Nick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have a quick question for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry to jump in. So, so you've done the social media channels. The one that's been presented to myself lately for advertising is the Hulu. Have you guys had any experience or work in that?
So actually, it's funny you say that. Just got an email on Monday from Hulu saying that we've been approved for the beta ads manager program. So the answer is no, we have not done it yet. But that would be more in line with like YouTube TV, Hulu, all your streaming services, where it's more display advertising, to where you're going to be showing commercials to people during shows.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, the answer is no, we haven't. If you do it, let me know how it goes, but we just got approved to beta test that this week. Great question. All right, let's do one more question, maybe 2 more questions if we have time. You can go ahead and unmute, or you can just drop it in the chat. It's up to you. There we go. Ad spend. Okay, someone DM'd me ad spend. Okay, so the question is, how much should I be spending on social media? So it really depends on a couple of different factors. One is, how dense is your marketplace? Like if you're in the Northeast and like New York, New Jersey, certain areas where there's a lot of households in a really small area, you can afford to do more ads. You can spend more money because your frequency rates aren't going to be overly high. If you're in more of a rural area or a suburban area where it's more spread out and your density is not 60, 70,000 people in a 1 mile radius, it's more like 10, 20, 30,000 people, you're not going to be able to spend as much. No matter how much you want to, you're not going to be able to spend as much. So that would be the first thing I would take into account, is how dense is my area. Secondly is, I would look at the platform itself. So I'll give you some examples. I'll give you some starting numbers. So Facebook, $15 a day would probably be your baseline. Going up to 20 to 25, maybe a day would be your sweet spot. You could spend more if you have more audience size. TikTok, there's a minimum requirement of $20 a day. So if you're going to do TikTok ads, it'd be $20 a day, and then up from there. Anywhere between 20 and 40 a day would be the sweet spot there. You don't want to go overboard on that. Your frequency will get too high. Instagram, same thing. So, okay. So Matt, you're looking to revamp, maybe augment what we currently discovery talk. Okay. Yep. Matt, I got you. I'll send you that link in the chat, here in a second. Don't leave the meeting until I can send you that link here real quick. Okay. Cause I'm still sharing my screen. We'll do one more question, guys, and then we'll wrap it up. And then, Matt, I'll take care of you. Make sure you get that link. All right. Any other questions? All right, good. Well, if there's no other questions, guys, thank you so much for joining. I apologize for you watching this on the replay. For all you guys watching this replay, we had a massive mishap with the link broken. We had so many people signed up for the webinar today, and we had to get you a link last minute. So we just put together a Zoom meeting real quick, and the webinar was broke. So I apologize, but thank you for watching the replay. If you have any questions, we're here to help. We're glad to help. Thank you guys for joining. And I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. And Matt, I'll get with you soon, and we'll talk to you guys soon.